Why is it that when a man discovers his partner has been unfaithful, his first instinct isn't to walk away, but to ask, "What can I do to make you change?" Behavioral observation suggests that many men fall into a hero complex trap, believing that if they just provide more, love harder, or fix the relationship, they can earn back the loyalty that was stolen from them. But psychological patterns show that you cannot fix a character defect with more of your own sacrifice. When you try to repair a partner who has consciously decided to betray you, you aren't saving a marriage, you are subsidizing your own disrespect. You are telling her that her betrayal has no real cost, and in the world of human behavior, what has no cost will eventually be repeated. If you are currently sitting there wondering how to win her back after she gave herself to someone else, you need to realize that you are fighting a battle that was over the moment she checked out. The fixer's delusion is a mental cage that keeps high-value men serving low-value behavior. You think you are being strong by staying and fighting for the union, but behavioral data suggests you are actually just becoming an enabler for her exploitation. We are going to dive deep into why your attempt to be a good man in the face of infidelity is actually the very thing that makes her lose the last shred of respect she has for you. We will look at how the brain tricks you into staying through intermittent reinforcement, and why the man who tries to heal a cheater usually ends up breaking himself. This isn't just about a breakup, it's about the psychological warfare of the second chance, and why that second chance is almost always a second bullet in the heart of your sovereignty. I'm not here to argue with the world about what a real man is. I'm here for the men who are quietly trying to get their lives together, the ones rebuilding, the ones learning discipline the hard way, the ones who got knocked down and decided to stand back up. If you're working on yourself, even if nobody sees it, this channel is for you. Subscribe if you're serious about growth. Leave a comment so I know you're here. No noise, no hype, just men doing the work. The first psychological pattern we must analyze is the sunk cost fallacy of the heart. Behavioral observation suggests that when a man has invested 5, 10, or 20 years into a woman, he treats the relationship like a financial asset that is too big to let fail. When she cheats, he doesn't see a traitor, he sees a broken investment that he needs to repair to justify the time he already spent. This is a cognitive trap. Your brain tells you that if you leave now, all those years of work, money, and protection were for nothing, so you stay and double down on a losing hand. Psychological patterns show that this leads to negotiated loyalty. You start making deals with her. You offer to take more off her plate, to listen more, to buy that house she wanted, all in hopes that she will choose you again. But respect cannot be negotiated. It is either freely given or it is non-existent. You are the victim of investment blindness when you think that the time you've put in gives you any equity in a heart that has already moved on. We must also look at the mirage of the why. Behavioral patterns show that men who try to fix a cheating partner become obsessed with the question, "Why did you do it?" They believe that if they can just find the root cause, maybe it was a lack of attention or maybe the spark died, they can solve the problem like an engineering project. Psychological observation suggests that this is a diversion tactic. By looking for a reason in the relationship, you are helping her shift the blame from her choices to your failures. If she says she cheated because she felt disconnected, you start trying to connect harder. You end up improving yourself to please a person who didn't value you when you were already at your best. This creates a power imbalance where the cheater becomes the judge and the victim becomes the defendant. You are the victim of blame-shifting cooperation when you help her build the excuse for her own infidelity. This leads us to the dopamine of the forbidden. Behavioral observation suggests that once a partner has tasted the high of a secret affair, the normalcy of a reconciled relationship feels like a low. Psychological patterns show that you cannot compete with the novelty of a new person by working harder at home. When you try to fix her, you are offering stability, but she has already developed a taste for chaos. This is why reconciled relationships often feel dead. You are providing the meal, but she is still dreaming of the snack. You are the victim of biological mismatch when you try to use logic to fix a chemical addiction to someone else. Let's look at the path of Tobias. Tobias was a man who prided himself on being a problem solver. He was a successful architect who believed that anything broken could be rebuilt if you had the right blueprints. When he found out his wife, Janelle, had been seeing an ex-boyfriend for 6 months, Tobias didn't kick her out. Instead, he blamed his long hours at the firm. He took her to marriage counseling twice a week. He started coming home early, taking a pay cut just to be more present. He even took her on a second honeymoon to the Maldives, spending $30,000 to remind her of who they were. He thought that if he could just show her how much better he was than the other guy, she would realize her mistake. Tobias is the loser in our story because he practiced the redemption of the disloyal. Because Tobias was so focused on fixing Janelle, he didn't realize that Janelle didn't want to be fixed. She wanted to be free while keeping the stability Tobias provided. She saw his effort as weakness. Every time he bought her flowers to start over, she felt a deeper contempt for him. In her mind, a strong man would have ended it. A prize doesn't beg to be kept. Tobias spent 3 years fixing a woman who was just using the extra time he gave her to coordinate her next move with the other man. When she finally left, she didn't just leave. She took the improved version of the life Tobias had built for her and gave it to the other guy. Tobias lost his prime career years, his dignity, and his mental health because he thought effort could replace integrity. He was a victim of the fixer's mirage, believing he could love the liar out of her. The second psychological layer is the devaluation of the forgiver. Behavioral observations suggest that when a man forgives too quickly or too easily without a massive visible change in the woman's behavior, he effectively devalues his own standards. Psychological patterns show that the human brain is wired to value what is hard to keep. By fixing the situation for her, you are making yourself cheap. She begins to think if he stayed after that, he will stay after anything. This is consequence immunity. You aren't saving the marriage, you are lowering the bar for how you are allowed to be treated. When a woman knows you are scared to lose her, she no longer feels she has to win you. You are the victim of grace without justice when your mercy becomes her license to repeat the behavior. Furthermore, we must address the biology of the beta physician. Behavioral patterns show that when a man takes on the role of fixer for a cheating partner, his own testosterone levels and dominance neurochemistry take a massive hit. He is in a constant state of anxiety and hypervigilance. He is checking the phone, watching the clock, and reading her body language. This constant scanning for danger keeps him in a submissive state. Psychological observations suggest that this chronic stress makes the man less attractive to the woman he is trying to save. She sees a stressed, paranoid caretaker instead of a strong, independent leader. You are trying to heal the relationship, but the medicine you are using, your own submission, is actually poisoning her desire for you. You are the victim of neurochemical castration when you spend your masculine vitality trying to secure a woman who has already devalued your presence. You have to realize that infidelity is not a system error in a relationship, it is a character defect. You can't fix a person's moral compass by changing your own behavior. If the compass is broken, they will always find a reason to get lost. Behavioral observations suggest that the fixer is often the most insecure person in the room because he needs the relationship to work to prove his own worth. He feels that if the relationship fails, he is the failure. But you cannot work a two-person job alone. You are the victim of solitary accountability when you are the only one doing the work for a betrayal you didn't commit. Another deep layer of this trap is the validation of the betrayer. Behavioral patterns show that when you try to fix her after she cheats, you are inadvertently validating her decision. You are telling her that she is so high value that even after she breaks the contract, you are willing to compete for her. This inflates her ego while it crushes yours. Psychological observations suggest that she will begin to look at you as below her. In her mind, she has options, and you have only her. This asymmetry of value is the death of romantic attraction. You are the victim of identity partitioning when your loyalty becomes the fuel for her arrogance. The reality is that the fixer is often afraid of the truth. The truth is that the person you loved does not exist in the way you thought they did. Behavioral patterns show that men will invent a second version of their partner, the good version, and tell themselves that the cheating version was just a temporary glitch. You tell yourself that's not who she really is. But psychological observations suggest that who a person is defined by what they do when they think no one is watching. The cheating version is the real version. You are trying to fix the glitch so you can get back to a fantasy, not realizing that the reality is standing right in front of you with another man's secrets in her pocket. You are the victim of identity partitioning when you ignore the reality of her actions to protect the memory of a ghost. Most men stay because they don't want to be the one who gave up. They have been conditioned to believe that fighting for love is the ultimate masculine virtue. But behavioral patterns show that fighting for a person who isn't fighting for you isn't virtue, it's masochism. You aren't fighting for your family if the other side has already sold the secrets to the enemy. You are just guarding an empty vault. Psychological observations suggest that strength is the ability to walk away from a table where respect is no longer being served. You are the victim of honor-bound entrapment when your vows are used as chains by a person who has already burned the bridge. I don't make content for the average mindset. I make it for the man who holds himself accountable. The one who can say no to distractions, not because someone told him to, but because he decided to. If you're not ready to work on yourself, this won't resonate. But if you are, you belong here. Most people watch and move on. If you're different, subscribe and comment. Show yourself you're serious. The third psychological layer we must address is the fantasy of the reformer. Behavioral observations suggest that many men stay because they want to be the exception. They want to be the man who was so great that he changed a cheater into a loyal wife. Psychological patterns show that this is a form of narcissistic altruism. You aren't staying for her, you are staying for your own ego. You want the vindication of her choosing you over her impulses. But you cannot inspire a person to have character if they didn't have it when the price was low. You are the victim of heroic delusion when you think your patience is a treatment for her infidelity. We must also look at the strategic silence of the betrayer. Behavioral patterns show that once a woman realizes you are a fixer, she will stop apologizing and start managing you. She gives you just enough affection to keep you working on the relationship, but never enough to make you feel secure. Psychological observations suggest that this is intermittent reinforcement. It is the same mechanism used in gambling. You keep pulling the lever of kindness, hoping for the jackpot of loyalty, while the house, or the cheater, always wins. This creates a state of trauma bonding, where your brain becomes addicted to the relief of her temporary kindness rather than the consistency of her character. You are the victim of emotional gambling when you stay for the possibility of change, instead of leaving because of the certainty of the past. This leads us to the erosion of masculine authority. Behavioral observations suggest that a man who tries to fix a cheater eventually loses his frame. You become the detective, a policeman, and the therapist, but you cease to be the leader. Psychological patterns show that a woman cannot remain attracted to a man she has successfully tricked or manipulated. By staying and fixing, you are confirming to her that your boundaries are negotiable. You are trading your power for peace, but in a relationship with a cheater, that peace is always borrowed. You are the victim of authority disillusion when you think your understanding is a bridge, but she sees it as a doormat. Let's look at the path of Kellen. Kellen was a man who lived by the rule of the clean cut. When he discovered his wife Tasha had a secret life on social media, he didn't ask for explanations. He didn't offer counseling. Kellen understood that the trust was the engine of the relationship, and the engine had exploded. Instead of trying to glue the pieces back together, Kellen performed a tactical withdrawal. He secured his finances, moved into a private space, and told Tasha, "I don't fix choice-based betrayal. I replace it with self-respect." Kellen is the winner in our story because he prioritized personal integrity over domestic comfort. By refusing to enter the fixer trap, he avoided the years of suspicion and heartache that Tobias suffered. Because Kellen walked while he was still whole, he maintained his market value. He didn't become the bitter, paranoid ex. He became the strong, decisive man. Tasha tried to fix it later, but Kellen was already occupied with a new empire. He won because he realized that a man's peace is worth more than a woman's potential. Today, Kellen is with a partner who guards his heart because she knows he is a man of action, not arguments. He was a master of emotional asset protection. He realized that his life force was too valuable to be spent auditing a person who had already failed the integrity test. The fourth pattern is the social branding of the nice guy. Behavioral observations suggest that some men stay because they are afraid of what people will think if they give up on their marriage. They want to be seen as the saint who forgave the unforgivable. But psychological patterns show that society doesn't respect the doormat. It respects the king. When you stay with a cheater to save face, you actually lose your social standing. Everyone knows you are the man who accepted the disrespect. You become a social target for further exploitation because you have shown the world that your tolerance for pain is higher than your tolerance for injustice. You are the victim of reputational suicide when you prioritize the image of a happy home over the reality of your own dignity. Furthermore, we must address the biology of chronic distrust. Behavioral observations show that men who stay in fixed relationships after cheating experience a permanent elevation in cortisol. Your body never truly feels safe again. Every time she is late, every time she laughs at her phone, your nervous system goes into red alert. This is the hypervigilance loop. It keeps your brain in a survival mode that prevents creativity, focus, and growth. Psychological observations suggest that this leads to accelerated aging and physical decline. You are fixing a relationship while breaking your internal organs. You are trading your physical health for a partnership that is built on lies. You are the victim of systemic burnout when you trade your physical vitality for a vow that she has already nullified. The fifth pattern is the mirror of contempt. Behavioral observations suggest that a woman who is forced to be fixed by a man she betrayed will eventually develop contempt for him. Psychological patterns show that she feels guilty in his presence, and guilt is an uncomfortable emotion. To escape that guilt, she devalues the man. She tells herself he's only staying because he can't do any better. Your forgiveness becomes her proof of your low value. This is the betrayal paradox. The more grace you show, the more disgust she feels. You are the victim of resentful reconciliation when you think your kindness is healing her, but it is actually hardening her heart against you. The final realization is the sovereignty of a clean slate. Behavioral patterns show that a man's greatest growth happens after he lets go of a toxic anchor. When you stop trying to fix her, you suddenly have all that mental energy to fix your business, your body, and your bank account. Psychological observations suggest that abundance is the reward for bravery. By closing the book on a cheater, you allow life to write a new chapter where you are the prize. You are better off being a man with a past and a future than a man with a present that is rotted at the core. Sovereignty is the ability to say, "I am too important to be treated this way." You are currently the architect of your life's structure. You cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand and betrayal. If the material is defective, you don't paint over it, you demolish and start over. Your time is too limited to be a repairman for a vessel that wants to sink. Every minute you spend fixing her is a minute you stole from building you. I have a smart question for the men who have the internal clarity to finish this session on the fixer's delusion. If you were a captain of a ship and you caught a navigator selling your route to pirates, would you give them a raise and ask them how to be a better captain? Or would you throw them overboard to save the crew and the cargo? You are the captain. The navigator is the cheater. Stop negotiating with the pirate's assistant. Drop a comment below and tell the Brotherhood what was the one moment when you realized you couldn't fix her character, and what was the first thing you did for yourself once you stopped trying. How much energy did you get back once you issued the eviction? Share your demolition stories. Your exit might be the map a brother needs to find his own freedom. Let's build the Council of Sovereign Men together. If you made it all the way to the end, I genuinely appreciate you. That tells me you're not just watching, you're thinking, you're reflecting, you're working on yourself, and you're not alone in that anymore. There's a community here of men choosing growth over excuses. If this message gave you something valuable, subscribe and be part of it. Leave a comment. I read them, and your voice matters here. Keep doing the work. I'll see you in the next one.